Cedar Park, Texas Live. It's Timberwolf Night in America. This is the Vype Live Network, and tonight our final edition of the show for 2021. I'm the V of the T, voice of the Timberwolves, Brad Cohn. It's our 14th and final show of the 9th season of TNIA, the 121st show overall since we began doing this from my dining room back in 2012. We're live from Santa Catarina Mexican Restaurant on Cypress Creek Road, a few hundred yards west of Old 183. We'll be here until 9 o'clock, so come on down if you can. With me once again tonight, the king of Laces Out, a professor at the College of Football Knowledge, the former wideout, a member of our 2010 district championship team and regional finalist, one of the slayers of mighty Lake Travis. He can kill two stones with one bird. He's won the Lifetime Achievement Award twice. He once flirted with danger, but danger got clingy. Lifetime Timberwolf, Josh Willer.
My man, the V of the T, always just making a white man blush on the mic. So it is always fun to be here for another edition of Timberwolf Night in America, but my heart is sad as it comes to a close. But we have a lot of great memories to talk about from this year's team, and we got the film girls in the house tonight. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Nathan Nunez is our quality assurance agent tonight, closely and diligently monitoring the broadcast from that super-secret, high-tech, low-maintenance, ultra-modern, technically advanced, stealthily cloaked pinnacle of internet communications technology, the Vype Studios, making sure we don't sound like tiger claws on a blackboard or something. A lot of you have access to Huddle and can watch the game films with us this evening. Is the crew that makes that happen. The Film Girls, Ethne, Gracie, and Kaylin will be chatting them up starting at close to the top of the hour. This year's Booster Club sponsors Toyota of Cedar Park, H-E-B, Rudy's Barbecue, Mungia Real Estate, Army Ant Moving, Touchdown sponsor TJ Lewis Real Estate, Alzer's Barbecue, Waffet Bank, and Santa Catarina Mexican Restaurant. So here's what's on our menu for tonight's final show of the season. Josh with the state of the program update, an incredibly brief review of the Peyto game, and then a look at other scores of interest, and we'll look at the final season stats, then take a trip through the wonderful world of Willard, and then we'll bring on the Film Girls. After that, I'll give a special presentation. I started last week, in his own words, former head coach Chris Ross gives the secret on how a coach wins football games. We will also announce our 2021 All-District players tonight. Then we'll play a fun trivia game with the girls before we close it out for the season. Now here's Josh with our State of the Program update.
Well, the all-time record for Cedar Park football is now 209-77. It's okay. It's okay. The program is now 43-15 in the postseason. That's winning more than 3 out of every 4 playoff games. How you like them apples?
I like them apples.
And they are 111-48 on the road all time, winning more than 2 out of 3 road games. We travel well. And they just have completed the program's 17th playoff run in only 22 UIL seasons and their 10th trip to the third round or further.
We got to remember that sort of stuff.
Oh, see, that's why, Brad, you're just on it tonight. You got me with.
Okay.
There we go. That deserves some emphasis.
Say that last phrase again and do that.
Oh, that's a lot of multitasking. All right. I'm going to read it off of yours. That's going to make it a lot easier. They have just completed the program's 17th playoff run in 22 UIL district seasons and their 10th trip to the third round or further. Oh, that was just a poor,
it didn't work very well.
That's okay. That's okay.
But we're working on that. We're working on that.
That's a good one.
At this point, I want to give a shout-out quickly to Ryan and Kathy. They were sitting right here at this table as I was setting up, and we were chatting a little bit, and they're finding out a little bit of the culture of Cedar Park football, and they're going to go home and tune in. So, Ryan and Kathy, glad you liked the chocolate cake. I recommend it.
Ooh.
And listen up. All right, here's our out-of-the-gate trivia question for you, Josh. We finished the season 7-6. If you start before this season and go backwards, how far do you got to go before you encompass the previous 6 losses?
Oh. Dude, I don't know.
Kind of an obscure one, but interesting.
An obscure one, but it would mean that a team had to have gone to the playoffs. Not necessarily.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying from the start of the season forward, 13 games, we are 7-6, have 6 losses. From the start of the season backwards, how far do you got to go? How many games, how many wins before you get to the 6 previous losses?
What? Okay. How many games? Is it seasons?
Games.
Oh, my gosh. Let's do 23.
That's a good guess, but not good enough. You got to go back 38 games
to
our you'll remember this one, detoured loss in Burnett to Cedar Ridge, Game 2
lock my keys in the car.
2018, yeah.
Oh.
32 wins embedded in our previous 6 losses. Prior to that, they were 49 wins embedded within the previous 6 losses.
Wow.
So, yeah, a little bit of a step down, but, that happens. Some work to do this offseason. That's all that means. All right, the Pato review is going to be brief. We lost 65-14. Worst loss in program history. Tied for the most points we've ever given up. Only time we've ever suffered 4 interceptions in a game. Second fewest total yards ever gained in a playoff game. We got 23 yards rushing. We gave up the most yards per play ever in a playoff game. Gave up touchdowns running, passing, and on interception and kick returns. Only game in Cedar Park history during which that ever happened. Enough said. Flush this stinker down the toilet and let's move on.
Okay, now I wasn't able to make the road trip because I had to babysit for young Dakota.
Yeah.
And I was tuned in for the
Yep.
whole game,
Yep.
texting you guys, you know, updated on it, and I'm not going to harp on it. But were they really running like an old school offense? Like under center?
Yeah, they were.
Oh my God.
It was the same offense I ran in high school. You got your 5 offensive linemen, 1 tight end on one side, 1 receiver kind of, but not very far, split out on either side, quarterback under center, a fullback behind him, a tailback behind him.
God,
This is the
fun.
old I formation that USC ran in the 70s.
Yeah, going back in a little time machine, and I mean,
That was like 3 out of every 4 plays they ran it. They would occasionally go to a spread with 5 wide out.
I would like to know if that was something they did all season.
Yeah, I don't know. Well,
I don't really care about
they ran
them,
up
though.
points
I don't
like
really
that
care
on
about
people
them.
all year. Yeah.
I don't care about
Yeah,
that.
let's move on. Let's
Yeah,
move on. We
yeah,
said
I
we're
don't
going to move on. All right. Observations while updating the school record book. Oh, a lot of this is not going to be fun either, but some of it is.
Yes.
But, like we've said before, if we're pretending we're adults, or at least people who are in training to be adults, you got to talk about the bad along with the good, because that's the only way you learn. All right. With 3,474 yards of career total offense, Josh Pell finishes with the 9th leading career total offense number in Cedar Park history, and he's the only one in the top 10 who didn't play just, more than 1 season. He just played 1.
Yeah, that was dominant.
Pell's 29 touchdown passes this season ties Max Sexton's performance in 2015 state title run for a 3rd in program history. He finishes 5th in career touchdown passes. Every player above him on this list started for either 2 or 3 seasons. He started for 1.
That's insane.
His average of 29 touchdowns per season beats Sexton's 25, Grimm's 23, and Hogan's 15.
Oh.
Hernandez is the only one who's thrown more average touchdowns per season in his career than Pell.
Hogan was my QB1, so I don't like when Brad disrespects Hogan like that, but I know it's got to be said.
Pell's season total of 2,854 passing yards moves him past Max Sexton's 2016 and 15 performances, and is now the 3rd best season total in program history to Ryder Hernandez 2019 and 2020 totals.
And had no starting receivers coming back that had logged a catch. Are you kidding me?
At 2,963 career passing yards, Pell finishes with the 4th highest total in team history. Pell's average of 218 passing yards per game for the season is the 4th best ever at Cedar Park, behind only Sexton in 17 and Ryder in 19 and 20. I found out that as I finished the updates for the year in the record book this week, Pell is like 4th in so many quarterbacking categories to our triumvirate of Hernandez,
Mackey,
Grimm, and Mackey. It's those 3 on top of Pell in just about every category. Those are the only 3 guys.
I'm telling you,
out of all our quarterbacks.
we need to go ahead and start the debate. Mount Rushmore season.
Yeah.
Is Pell on this thing or what?
He sure might be.
I think it's incredible what he's done.
All right. Pell's 388 pass attempts this season, 3rd most ever at Cedar Park. Pell's also the team's leading rusher in terms of yards per carry, 6.65.
Every single carry was so vital that he had this year, too.
Kevin Adams ends his career as our 9th leading all-time rusher with 1,944 yards. He's only 56 yards short of 2,000 career.
That hurts. Maybe we could have him dress out for the Vandergrift game, just give him a different jersey. Nobody would know.
With 333 career carries, Adams is 5th in school history.
And that's out of a lot of good running backs.
Yeah. Nick Grullon's 52 catches this season and Cody Marshall's 48 and Grant Nichols' 40 are numbers 8, 10, and 13 respectively on the all-time list for receptions in one season.
And I feel like 29 of those for Grant Nichols happened in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, he really
came on as baby Gronk.
Right, and Marshall didn't have many in the first few games.
He kind of started with Georgetown.
Yeah, that's when it started for him. Grullon's 52 career catches place him tied with Preston Scott and Brandon Breed for 13th on the all-time list. Both of those players played in more than twice as many games as Grullon.
Brandon Breed, man, what a deceptive deep route. Or deep threat he was.
Cody Marshall's 48 career catches moves him past Chad Whitehead and Dylan Cox for 14th on the all-time list. Whitehead played in 3 times as many games as Marshall, Cox in more than twice as many.
And the best-looking wide receiver in Cedar Park history.
I thought that was you. I'm best looking. Best looking.
Come on, Brad.
Okay.
All right, I'm not going to vote for myself for best looking. Okay, I could.
Grant Nichols' 40 career catches puts him at 17th on the career receptions list.
That's ridiculous.
Marshall finishes his career with 855 receiving yards, moving him past Drew McDaniel and Dylan Cox on the all-time list for 15th. All 14 players above him played for 2 seasons or more. He played for 1.
And especially, how scary if he was in that arsenal of receivers last year with Ryder.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Just give him 23 catches.
And Grullon, too. Grullon finishes with 716 career receiving yards, 18th on the all-time list. Every player above him except Marshall played for multiple seasons. Grant Nichols finishes with 563 career receiving yards at number 25 on the all-time list. Every player above him except Marshall and Grullon played for multiple seasons.
That's 563 more career yards than I ever
you
had. I played receiver and
but
had
you were
0.
better looking.
Yeah. And I could block really well. I was a good blocker.
Marshall's career 17.8 yards per catch figure is 11th best in Cedar Park history. Marshall's season total of 855 yards is the 7th highest in program history and the highest for any Cedar Park receiver who did not reach 1,000 yards in a season. Grullon's 716 receiving yards matches Jack Grimm, the Grim Reaper.
They're tied?
The Grim Reaper's total in 2015 for 11th on the list.
Tied?
Tied.
Oh,
yep.
You hate to see it.
Nichols 563. If you could lean forward one more yard,
Or just take a step back, and Jack Grimm is always, that's respectable to do in the program.
Nichols' 563 receiving yards this season are the 15th best ever at Cedar Park. Marshall's 131 receiving yards against Pato are his 2nd best personally and 23rd best in team history. And again, girls, I got to tell you this. When I say, it's the 23rd best in team history, maybe that doesn't sound so good. You're used to the gold and the silver and the bronze and the first and the all that stuff. 23rd best just doesn't sound like good. We're talking about 8 or 10 guys catching a pass in every one of 285 football games. So you're talking about thousands of entries in the record book, and somebody's 23rd best. It's pretty good.
That's top 10% academia.
Yeah. That's probably top 5 or 4%.
Yeah.
Grullon ends up with 10 touchdown catches on the season, 7th most ever, and for his career, 10th most ever.
Wow.
Cody Marshall ends up with 8 touchdown catches on the season. That's the 10th most ever, and for his career, the 11th most ever. God. The 23-team rushing yards against Pato was the 6th fewest ever in any Cedar Park game.
2 sides of that coin, Brad. It can be bad or good. 2 sides.
With 5,041 yards of total offense, the 2021 team finishes 10th of 23 Cedar Park teams all time. Here's the bad part I was talking about earlier. With 2,871 team passing yards, the 2021 team finishes 6th among all 23 Cedar Park teams. That's not bad.
That's sweet.
With 2,170 team rushing yards, the 2021 team finishes 16th among all 23 Cedar Park teams. Averaging 29.8 points per game over the season, the 2021 team is 13th of 23 Cedar Park teams scoring average-wise. It's only the 2nd team since 2012 to average under 30 points per game. 2018 was the other. This is the first time in 14 years Cedar Park was out first downed by more than 3 of its opponents. 6 of them did that to us this year.
I mean, you're not doing wins and losses off of first downs, though.
That's true. That's true. 23% of all, this one really hurts. That running back that ran all over us for Pato, 23% of all of his rushing yardage for the season came against Cedar Park last Friday.
Oh, my gosh.
It wasn't even that good.
Yeah.
We made him look awful good. How about this one? No Cedar Park team or player ever threw 4 interceptions in one game.
He's still my quarterback.
The 399 points allowed this season makes this scoring defense the worst in school history by 45 points. It is the first Cedar Park team ever to average giving up over 30 points per game, and the first Cedar Park team since 2003. You all weren't even born in 2003. Over the course of the season was outscored by its opponents.
Yikes.
Told you this wasn't good. Good thing we're almost through it. The 65 points allowed Paytower tied for the most ever scored on a Cedar Park team. Hutto did it in 2018.
That was a terrible game.
The 51-point margin of defeat was the largest in program history. The 72-yard touchdown run by Demarion Phillips, not even their best guy, was tied for the 17th longest run ever allowed by a Cedar Park defense, considering there have probably been 15,000 runs against Cedar Park. That was the 17th longest ever allowed by a CP defense. This season, the team has allowed 9 runs of 62 yards or greater, all of them touchdowns. In all of Cedar Park history, there had only been 14 going into this season.
Oh, my goodness.
And we gave up 9.
You know.
So I told you this was tough, but we gotta, we gotta swallow that
Closure
castor
is
oil.
a real thing. Closure.
Yeah, we gotta just get that
Got to talk about
get it all behind us. It happened. We admit to it. We'll get better. They're gonna work hard and they're gonna get better. All right. Final season team stats. Kevin Adams was our leading rusher, 934 yards, 71.8 a game. Pell was our second with 512, 39.4 a game. Nicholson, 4.84 average and 460 yards. Mundell, a 4.85 average, slightly better than Tyree at 262 yards. Everybody else had 43 yards or less. Pell, we already talked about his passing numbers. Receiving, we kind of talked about that too. Marshall with 855 led. Nick had 716. Nichols 563. Edwards 316. Didn't play a lot late in the season.
Right.
Molinaro with 182. Carter Wohl with 107. He's the only one of those first 6 coming back. Yikes. Kevin Adams had 11 catches for 93. Big Murr had that 10-yard touchdown catch.
Sweet.
Everybody else was just like a catch here or there for not much. We look at the defensive stats, a number we've been proud of for years, pushing it 50, anywhere from 48 to 52% of the opponent's plays going for 1, 0, or negative yardage. This year, only 37.8, and that tells a big story of the defensive problem.
But that's the crazy part. 37.8% is still ridiculous in that stat.
It's pretty good.
It was just the explosion.
Not as good as we're used to.
Well, it was the explosion plays. We weren't wrapping up.
Yes, that's absolutely true. All right. All right, now let's take a look at some other scores of interest from the week. I know those big 6A teams we played. One of them still alive, Vandy. They're now 28-7 between them. 2 of them are done. If you throw in Westlake, who we struggled against in the preseason scrimmage too, the teams that we faced before district play, the 4 of them, 42-7. And Vandy and Westlake, the only 2 still alive, are facing each other this week at DKR. All of these scores, of course, playoff games in 6A. Bowie 36, San Antonio Brennan 59. Bulldogs are done. Vandy beat Edinburgh Vela 38-14. Vandy is kind of benefiting from being in that weak 6A South Texas region. In 6A, that region has always been weak. Not to say that Vandy's not good, but their playoff path to the state Final Four is pretty easy. Westlake 56, Far San Juan Alamo North nothing.
Oh my
Same
gosh.
for Westlake. They're
that
in
is a
that
mouthful.
Same 6A South Texas region that doesn't play good football. Lake Travis 35, Laredo United South 19. Yep, same for them too.
Yeah.
These are all good teams. They sure may have gone this far if they were in Region 3 or 2.
Right.
But in Region 4, absolutely they're going this far.
Yeah, I mean,
It's-
and that's
it's
where
a
we
weak
were for the
6A
longest.
region.
We were there for the
But
longest
we were in
time.
5A. It wasn't as bad in 5A as it is. It's really weak in 6A.
True.
Some 5A scores: Liberty Hill 55, Rouse 33. We'll talk about that one more in a minute. Marble Falls 7, Alamo Heights 10. So Marble Falls, the Mustangs are done. 4A Wimberley 26, Cuero 36.
Oh.
LBJ over Bernie 68-24, and Fredericksburg 28, Pleasanton 20. So LBJ and Fredericksburg will face off next. Former coaches and player scores: all our exes coach in Texas, and we think they do. Tyler Legacy is done, and Barbers Hill are done. So we'll look at Lovejoy first. Over Mansfield Timberview 24-20 for Chris Ross. They are 12-1. They next face 12-1 Dallas South Oak Cliff. Longtime power in basketball. Never heard of them being good in football, so we'll see how that one goes. Prosper, Brandon Schmidt's team, 53-6 over El Paso Eastwood. They're 9-4. Next up, a tough one, 12-1 Denton Geyer. Prosper was 6-4 in regular season. They're in the regional finals.
Well, Denton Geyer struggled in the last round too. They barely squeaked by, so I think Prosper might have a chance to shock some people.
Mount Vernon, Brad Willard's team, 40, Gladewater 14, 13-0, and next up, 13-0 West. What do you know about them?
They're ready for a dogfight, but Brad's running. He's got a great running back as well as a good receiving core. So, I mean, my brother, being a young coach, he gambles, goes for it a lot on
goes
fourth
for two, does
fourth
the
down.
outside kicks.
He does a lot of crazy stuff. So I just think that actually the edge is. I mean, I'm a little biased because he did give me wedgies growing up. I think that there's a coaching edge in this matchup with my brother.
A wedgie edge.
Ugh.
And Rouse over Liberty Hill, or under Liberty Hill, 33-55. Josh Mann's team, 11-2, and they are done. And we had a special correspondent on site at that game.
Yeah, it was Dakota Willard, my daughter. I took her to the game, and we had a lot of fun. Had cotton candy, had popcorn. And she was terrified of the band, but that's okay. Loved the dance team. But it was a dogfight in the first half, and then Liberty Hill took some gambles there in the second half, that paid off. And, I mean, that Rouse team, though, they looked so explosive. And that quarterback, Shorb, I think he's only a junior. He's coming back.
Oh.
That is going to be a big recruit coming out of the area next year.
And what did she think of that weird offense that Liberty Hill runs? What's Dakota's analysis of that?
Well, it was fun because Daddy told her about when he ran that offense. I'm not that old, Brad. Not that old.
In Pee Wee?
No, we ran it at Cedar Park Middle and my freshman year.
Oh.
We ran that freshman year.
Wing T thing, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wing T. All right, now it's off to see the Willard, the wonderful Willard of Oz. Here we go on another fascinating voyage through the wonderful world of Willard.
Well, it was a great weekend of football, minus our Timberwolves season coming to a close. That was really sad, and you know how much I love a good broadcasting road trip, so that sucked being able to miss that one. Because the Waller Stadium, that's a nice little venue, too.
It is.
So really upset about that. But there is something I do want to address right off the top, and it's just a lot of craziness that's been happening around the Austin area, especially with LBJ coach Fenner losing his son tragically in a shooting this past week. Had that big emotional win in the Alamo Dome, and so you're pulling for LBJ right now to just go all the way. You want them to go all the way, as well as Red Benford passing away from Maynard. And I don't know if a lot of people remember, but when Maynard played at Cedar Park, I think it was the year that we lost in the third round to them with that Taj Brooks team.
Yeah.
God, he was like the Patrick Beverly in the NBA of this football team. I hated playing against this kid. I mean, he was kind of a pest. He was kind of cocky and arrogant, but, I mean, he produced on the field. So it's one of those guys where he's on your team, you love it. And if you're playing against him, you hate it. But just saw tragically in the news that he was involved in a shooting as well. So just thoughts and prayers going out to a lot of communities right now that are definitely needing it, as well as the community of Michigan. With the school shooting yesterday and the story coming out about their star football player that charged the gunman and was killed in that. So, I mean, just, a lot of mourning going across, and just keep everybody in your prayers. We need to stay safe. However, moving on, the Thanksgiving feast last week was canceled for me.
Oh?
At my parents'. Both of them were down. They were feeling sick, so they're like, we don't want to give it to you or Dakota. So I saved Thanksgiving for my brother, Zach, and then my cousin in Dakota. I cooked Thanksgiving.
Oh, what'd you make?
Sweet potato casserole, green bean casserole. There was turkey. I did a 180. We did steaks. Big old juicy steaks. And then, I might need to pull up the picture. It was flawless, if I could say so myself.
Right.
So I saved the day on Thanksgiving. Not all heroes wear capes. And then stayed at home all day Friday and watched my daughter, and we were locked in, like I said, to the Timberwolf game from start to finish, and I just truly cannot get over this particular Cedar Park team. To be 5-5 going into the third round, you cannot hang your heads
Win 2
because
playoff
everybody in the third round is just freaking good.
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes that's how seasons ends abruptly, and you hate to see it, but to be able to be tuned in and to be emotionally attached to this team, it was a lot of fun because these guys showed a lot of resiliency.
Yep.
And then I got to watch Michigan destroy Ohio State, and I felt so happy to see Ohio State go down. I'm sorry, Cecil, if you're listening. You know, you just hate to see it. But then also Texas found a way to win their last game, and they're still not going bowling.
Did they?
Yeah.
They won? Well,
they beat K-State.
I stopped paying attention to Texas after the second half of the Oklahoma game.
Yeah. And so Chris Beard, too, I want to talk about him at UT basketball because he did something really cool where he had a home game at Gregory Gym.
Yeah, I heard about that.
And he's trying to change the home environment for when they transition in the stadiums, the new one that's being built, as well as back at the Drum for this last year.
Yeah.
And it was hilarious because there was a guy on the baseline wearing a Hawaiian shirt just going bananas. Like the funniest dances and celebrations on free throws and stuff. And Chris Beard on his Twitter was like, we need to find Hawaiian shirt guy. So Twitter...
Could be me. I wear Hawaiian shirts a lot.
Well, Twitter does what it does. I love the internet for that. And they found this guy.
Wow.
And he got to come hang out for practice all day. He
That's
got to
pretty
be
cool.
in the film session. They
Take
got him
a couple of threes?
Got him decked out in gear. Like, I just love what Chris Beard is doing at Texas for basketball right now. It is scary with their new facilities that they're going to have, what they're going to be able to do. And finally, for Stupid Is as Stupid Does. I cannot believe this. I'm going to go ahead and let Brad do the play-by-play on this ridiculous play that happened in the Minnesota Vikings versus the San Francisco 49ers, which was a big matchup as it's a pegging race trying to see who's going to get that wild card spot. And, Brad, just take this one from the top in your best broadcasting.
All right. So the Vikings, with a couple of timeouts left, clock running down, trailing 8. Quarterback Cousins lines up under guard. He has 3 receivers to the left, 4. Wait a minute, now a timeout. The running back determined what I did. The Kirk Cousins lined up not under the center, but under the right guard. Thank goodness they didn't snap the ball.
Thank goodness they didn't snap the ball, but Kirk Cousins, man, that is literally why the internet just jumps on you for every single mistake, because some of those are just boneheaded mistakes, and anytime you do something like that, you're going to get featured on Timberwolf Night in America.
Are you stupid or something?
Mama says stupid is as stupid does.
And it does. It just keeps doing.
I'm going to miss that segment.
Peas and carrots, Jenny. Peas and carrots. All right, we're going to take a short break. When we return, our guests, the Film Girls. Stick around. You're listening to Timberwolf Night in America, live from Santa Catarina, right here on the Vype Live Network.
Hey, high schoolers. Are you interested in a career in sports media? Vype can help. Launched in 2017, our Vype U Ambassador Program is a one-of-a-kind educational scholarship program that offers high school students a chance to gain hands-on experience in the sports media field. Vype U also gives students a platform to build their portfolio of creative work under the guidance of Vype's seasoned professionals. From covering games to publishing photos, writing articles, and conducting on-camera interviews, each Vype U ambassador receives an immersive experience geared toward their interests, while promoting their own school and preparing them for their future. Email info@vypemedia.com to find out more about Vype U today.
A premier real estate brokerage in Central Texas, Mungia Real Estate's innovative buy-sell process results in their listings selling faster than the Austin average. Their attention to clients sets Mungia apart from other brokerages with creative marketing strategies, savvy negotiation skills, and a commitment to hard work and excellent customer service. Whether it's residential, single-family, multifamily, condos, commercial, or vacant land, Mungia Real Estate knows the Austin market and connects buyers with sellers every day. And they do it with professionalism. Mungia Real Estate at 512-922-4267 or mungiarealestate.com. That's MUNGIA.
In the battle for barbecue supremacy, warriors pit prime meats, secret sauces, and recipes against one another. Yet one champion stands alone. Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, in the modern-day vernacular, where bad means good. Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue has the worst barbecue in Texas.
All righty then. Welcome back to our 14th and final episode of Timberwolf Night in America for 2021, live from Santa Catarina on Cypress Creek Road here in Cedar Park. I'm Brad Cohn, joined by Josh Willard, Nathan Nunez, our QA tonight here on the Vype Live Network. By the way, the date and the venue for the banquet have been set. It will be Sunday, January 16th from 5 to 8 p.m. at the Hot Spot in Cedar Park. Yours truly, the MC of that annual event. Always a great evening during which we highlight and honor our players. It's been in the Cedar Park cafeteria for a couple of years. And prior to that, it spent many years at the top floor of the Oasis overlooking Cedar Park. Now at the Hot Spot, a former barbecue joint down there, kind of New Hope and just east of the 183 Expressway, where Brett Michaels' band was the other night, by the way.
And so has Snoop Dogg been there.
Snoop Dogg has been there.
Snoopy.
All right.
I'm going to try to go to that.
Oh, cool.
I'll be your +1.
And now, our special guests tonight, the Film Girls. Ethne Barnes, Kaylin Benz, and Gracie Trebilco. Am I saying that right, Gracie? Trebilco? Yeah, you are. Trebilco? What do you know? All right, what we're going to do is just pass the mic around. We'll start down here with Ethne, I guess. Pass her the mic, and we'll grill her.
All right, hello.
Mommy made me match my M&Ms. I'm just kidding.
Hey, Ethne, so we'll start with the first question. How'd you get into this?
So I was recruited by Coach Battles last year during our virtual PE. I had nothing better to do.
Wait, what do you do in a virtual PE?
We sit and we listen to, do you know the guy Mackie Speaks?
Yeah,
From
I've heard
Twitter,
of it.
like
I've
the
heard
little
of that.
motivational speech guy. We would watch his videos and then we would get to leave. But
Wow.
Coach Battles was trying to find filmers for the football team last year, and I had nothing better to do. I was cooped up in my house, so I figured why not?
So do you have any experience behind a camera prior to this? Or
No.
God, that's awesome.
My
so
mom?
was there any training for that? Or are you just guessing and getting it right?
No. No.
No training.
The girl who taught me how to use a camera the first day, I never saw her ever again. I was the first one of the three of us to come up to the school and get involved, and the person who taught me never saw her again.
And so this is now your second season?
Yes.
So what brought you back?
I just really enjoyed it last year. I really enjoyed being part of the team, seeing a side to the team that not a whole lot of people get to see. And the coaches last year, it was really a fun experience. Going to state, those coaches, those seniors, it just, I couldn't see why I wouldn't.
Yeah, it was picture perfect.
That's why we keep coming back, too. It's a fun group of folks to be around. And it's not just football. You help with the baseball team as well.
Yeah, so we do the film for baseball as well. Grace does the stats, but Kaylin and I do film. We film all the at-bats for our varsity team, and it's really fun. We got pulled in by Coach Williams after football season ended and just stuck with it. It's also a really great community. Mm-hmm. It's really close, like a family, and we just really enjoy being a part of it.
Do you film the pitchers, too, for their edification, or is it only batters?
It's only the at-bats. So
Interesting.
technically,
So
when
when
we film
we're-
the other teams' at-bats, we get the pitching as well.
Okay,
right?
so you film the other team's at-bats,
I'm gonna pass
too.
the mic to
I was going
Kayla,
to wonder
'cause
if
she
maybe you
remembers it
only had to
better.
work half of every inning.
We also film the at-bats of the other team so we can see how our people on field play as well, and then as we just switch back and forth.
Very cool.
That's Kaylin Benz, and
There you go.
we'll get more from her a little bit later. So, Ethne, what class are you now? Are you a sophomore?
I'm a
freshman?
junior,
Junior?
so class of 23.
Class of 23. So back for another year, and I guess you'll be back doing this again, right?
Uh-huh.
That's great. Is there any way there's something out of this experience you can kind of put on your resume and maybe think about?
yeah.
What can you do there?
Yeah, definitely. It really shows that, like, I'm really dedicated to any activity. I mean, waking up at 4 in the morning to get to 5 a.m. practice for a sport I don't play. You got to be committed for
Well,
that.
there's some elaborate on that because people who may not know any better. You've talked about filming the games and stuff. They may not realize you film all the practices too.
Yeah, so we wake up and we go to 5 a.m. practice every morning. Well, Monday, Tuesday morning, and then Wednesday's afternoon practice. And Thursday nights, there are freshman and JV games that we film as well. And then Friday nights, we run the film in the end zone for the team, and we set up the camera in the press box for one of the coaches to film up there. And I can actually also put on my resume my flex position as well, because I got roped into that by Audrey Burton because she saw me last year doing the film for the team. And so when she graduated, she sent me a DM and was like, hey, I don't know if you'd be interested in doing this. And I said, sure. Same place, same time.
Explain. Our listening audience is usually older than you. So
I guess
explain
that's
what the
true.
flex position is.
The flex position is a correspondent position for a social media
Tycoon.
Yes, exactly.
They're amazing at what they do.
No, they cover all the Austin area high school sports, and I don't know how Snoop does it because it's a lot of work, but I'm just glad to be a part of it, help him out a little bit.
Snoop's been on our show a few times. You know, guess who was the voice of Cedar Park men's basketball for 3 years? Snoop.
Oh, I
Yeah.
didn't actually know that. That's
On
really
our broadcast,
cool.
yeah.
Snoop's been
Snoop
around
was.
for a while, and then when I graduated and I was still starting here, I was a reporter for them, but they didn't have, like, there was only 3 of us. So there was no school had their own person.
Oh,
So, like, I was
wow.
bouncing around. So I went and did a Manor playoff game at Kyle Field. I went and did a couple Georgetown playoff games. I really didn't like doing them, but I had to do it 'cause it's Georgetown.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it is so amazing what that company and what Snoop has done, and now partnering up with 104.9 Horn, they're taking over.
When he was running Friday Night Fan Stand and Cedar Park would have a bye, he did invite Josh and me to come sit with his panel on the broadcast all Friday night, covering all sports. Pretty neat. Snoop and us go way back.
Yeah.
Like that.
It's insane what he's grown it into in the past couple of years.
So you're going to do that again next year?
Yes, for
Sick.
sure.
Sick.
So, Ethne.
Yes.
Ethne. What kind of name is that, by the way?
It's a name from a movie, and that's all I can
Oh.
tell you. I just know my parents watched this movie called The Four Feathers, and for some reason, my mom really liked the name. I think
Ethne.
it's Irish.
Kind of sounds like it might be Irish.
One to watch with my wife.
Do you have some Irish blood in you?
No, but I do have Scottish blood.
Close.
It's close enough.
Right across the Gulf
Yeah.
there. All right, Ethne, who is amongst the 3 of you film girls, who's the best camera handler? Oh, you got to be honest. Got to be honest.
I would argue that it's me.
Okay. Well, you think she is? You think she is?
Yeah, I would agree.
Okay.
Do it.
I would agree.
Okay.
Do it.
Grace, you agree?
I do handle multiple different cameras because I have a separate one for Flex, so I've got a variety of experiences.
Okay.
Kaylin and I also did photography for a brief period of time for the team. Kind of ended it this year because it was a little too much to handle.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot to handle, doing all that. So, another question.
Yes.
Who's the best dancer among the 3 of you?
Kaylin or Grace.
Kaylin or Grace?
They
It's just not you.
It's just
huh?
definitely
It's
not me. No.
Not me. I'm not a dancer.
They go and they do line dancing at Wild West on Sunday nights, and I went
Wow.
one week, and let's just say I'm never going back again. No one
For a
wanted to see
non-dancer,
that.
that's no place to be.
No,
Yeah,
no one
that's
wanted
right.
to see
That's
me do
right.
that.
One
Right.
side question: as a reporter filming, have you been run over?
Yes, multiple times. Kevin Adams
Kevin
has
Adams.
run into me.
He could knock over a
almost.
fire hydrant.
Oh,
He ran into
so
you?
many times. There are so many pictures of me on the sideline, like inches away from Kevin. I've also gotten run over multiple times doing the film for when they run out of the tunnel.
Oh.
The last game, Paytow, Gabe Duran, one of our linemen, almost ran me over, and you can see my camera tilt to the side as I try to get out of the way. It's pretty funny.
That's terrific. So, all of you are underclassmen, but, if you're a junior, it's kind of start time to be thinking about, putting some thoughts to what you're going to be doing after high school. What are you thinking there?
I am looking to go into sports marketing, possibly. I really enjoy marketing, and I've really enjoyed the sports side of it, and I figured, why not just marry the two and call it a day?
Why not? Any school in particular you're interested in?
I'm looking into going to UT
Mm-hmm.
because it has the major that I want. It has a really big sports program.
Class of 83 here.
Incredible.
1983.
That's fantastic.
Stop.
So, where did your parents go to school?
My mom went to New Mexico
Oh, I have a niece who went
State,
there.
I believe.
Oh, New Mexico State.
And my dad went to Masters University out in California. It's a small private Christian school. He played soccer out there for them.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
All right, any shout-outs you want to give?
Yes, I want to shout out the seniors this year. Shout out the other filmers, the coaches, Coach Williams, Coach Cockrell, my family, shout out y'all for having us on here.
Sure, our pleasure.
I think that's it.
All right. Ethne Barnes, number
Thank
1 of the
you.
Film Girls. Number 2 coming up is, who's going to take it next? Okay, Gracie Trebilco.
Hello.
Gracie, have you changed your hair color?
No.
No?
Okay, so I dyed. Fun fact: I dyed my hair with State last year.
Yes.
I dyed a huge chunk in the back, and I kept dyeing it, so it's still dyed to this day.
Okay. For some
But
reason,
no.
when I see you in the daylight, it seems like your hair is a lighter color than it is here. That's why I asked.
Okay, so my dad used to actually has red hair when he was younger, and so I have strands of red hair in my hair, which so in the sun it makes it look a little bit lighter and like a different color.
It's also kind of interesting to see you not wearing a borrowed cowboy hat.
Yes, Houston Molinaro, let's give a shout out already.
There you
Thank
go.
you for letting me wear your cowboy hat.
So tell us your story about how you got involved.
Okay, so started my freshman year, started online school, didn't really know anything about anything actually. And then Coach Rowe was my map/profcom teacher, and he was looking for a new filmer. And I heard that my friend Lou was gonna film, and that actually Ethne, because I knew her through a different friend, that they were filming. So I was like, okay, sure. And he was like, wake up at 4 a.m. I was like, no.
No.
But then they go, but you'll get your Letterman freshman year. And I was like, I'm waking up at 4
Hey,
a.m.
yeah.
That's sick.
So I'm gonna be straight. That's what called me in.
That
They
was
told me
really
I
it.
could get a Letterman.
That's all right. That's all right. What are you thinking you might be doing when you're? Are you sophomore?
Yes, I'm a sophomore.
So you got a few more years to think about. Have you been thinking yet about what you're gonna do afterwards?
I think I really want to go to A&M and go to their campus down in Corpus because they have a really incredible medical program, and I really want to be a part of the medical community.
Yeah, that's
You know, we've got a little condo down in Port Aransas we go to 4 or 5 times a year. Corpus is a great place to go to college, I would imagine.
Yeah.
So there you go. There's a
Yeah.
lot of cool stuff to do around there. So what is your favorite class at Cedar Park High School?
I would say my favorite class is either advanced chemistry or medical terminology.
Advanced chemistry.
I just saw the
Yes.
Matrix
As a
in my head.
sophomore?
Just like,
Yes.
Sophomore? Man, what takes you to that route?
Well, chemistry I could either take on level or advanced, and I chose advanced, and I'm just really loving it. I love that
Great.
because I'm good at math and
Oh,
algebra,
good.
so it uses that, and then it's just super cool. Like we made fire today. We chemicaled. It was
That's
great.
fun.
You know, I'm more and more impressed with what these kids are saying as they come, not just these, but the ones that have come on the show all year long, what they're saying their favorite courses are, what they're saying they're wanting to do. It seems to be ramping up from years in the
Yeah,
past.
the times have changed since my senior year.
Yeah.
Let me tell you that much. Brett.
Yeah, he wanted to be a circus clown. You know, I mean,
Hey, wait. So, of the film duties, what is the worst thing that you like when you hear it? You're like, I don't want to do this, or the daily task. You're like, ugh, I don't want to do this.
When I don't do that much, but I would say when it's going from 7-on-7 all the way through team, that's a solid like 35 minutes of straight film, and that's just
Ooh.
like, here we go.
Taxing.
I'm like,
yeah.
the AirPods are going in.
What has been your favorite moment so far in doing the filming?
I think my favorite moment is having to either have the connections with say like these two. I love spending
Yeah.
the time with them and creating the bonds I have, and just following this amazing football team around. It's just been such an experience, and I didn't think I was going to be able to be a part of anything, and being able to like follow football to state last year was incredible. It was just, there was such a thrill and such a chase, and I ended up in the press box with y'all on accident. But we did.
Oh, it was a party.
Yeah,
That was
folks,
a-
Blood,
if you-
sweat, and tears.
That was like
literally.
a condo up at AT&T. That was not a press box. That was a condo. That was beautiful.
Folks, if you didn't realize it, that's why we know these girls so well. We see them every week, every Friday, in whatever press box we're in. We chat these girls up, so we know them pretty well. In your opinion, who's the best singer of the group?
I would say Ethne. Ethne hit some bars in the car.
Oh,
Those
nice.
rap, she has a really good rap too. She made up.
All right, think of something. We're going to give the mic back to you in a minute. We're doing a
This
little
is the
acapella.
great time
Do a little
a
acapella.
great time to debut the rap. We
All
love
right.
exclusive rap.
So, do you have a favorite player on the team? And I'm not saying you're romantically involved. Just you got a player that you just kind of like what they're doing, and it's a good guy. And
I would say my two favorites would either have to be Grant Nichols, because he just moved in down the street from me, and he's been really nice and giving me a ride every morning. He's kind of been like almost like a big brother to me this year, and I really appreciate that. And then Houston, because he says a lot of dumb things, and it's funny.
He is funny. I think when we had the receivers here,
and the hat, he lets me wear his hat.
Yeah, I think when we had the receivers on, that Molinaro was voted the funniest of them when we asked who the funniest one was.
For sure.
All right.
Oh, morning practices. Who's late?
Oh, yeah.
Who's the one that's late?
I'm sorry, Kaylin. It's Kaylin.
I get there on time. You know, we're supposed to be there a little earlier, but I get there right as we're supposed to get there like around.
Early is on time is late.
Right, I get there like 5 minutes before players go on field.
Right.
And we don't film until like 30 minutes prior, so what's the point of getting there super
You're my
early?
spirit animal.
Because somebody told you so, that's why.
But like, I see no point.
Gotta love the honesty.
I'm already there, so. And I mean, I get the job done, so it's okay.
There you go. To get the job done, it should be okay. All right, so Gracie, you got, we asked you about your favorite courses. What's your one you hate to go to the most?
English. English is my least favorite subject right now, and yeah.
And why is that? Can you explain why?
Okay, so I have this teacher this year. So I don't know if I'm supposed to say
I
her name
heard
or
about
not.
this teacher on the roof of the JV field press box early on in the year.
Oh my gosh. Okay, yeah.
I
and her
was
last year
standing
too.
there
It
when you
was
fulminated
not
for
that
30
good.
minutes about that teacher.
Yeah, so this year my teacher decided, let's have no grades. Let's have a gradeless class. And that's not a good idea. And it's not working. And I write an
How do you
essay.
know how well you're doing?
No, let me tell you.
Or
Let
how
me tell
bad
you.
you're doing.
I do all this work for her just to write an essay to her at the end of the 6 weeks to tell her how I've done as a student. But don't worry, you can't lie because she writes down every time you speak in class. so don't worry, she's keeping tabs on you. But I have to write this whole essay just for her not to give you the grade that you asked for. Exactly. I write like a 2-page essay in a tiny font for her, and she doesn't give me the grade I want.
And high school's changed a little bit since you've been there and since I've been there.
I got the pleasure of seeing Mrs. Zander at the girls' basketball game last night,
that.
and I got to proudly tell her in front of Mr. Morgan, one of the APs. Is he still an AP? He used to be an AP.
I don't
No,
know.
he's not.
I don't know. The really tall guy. What's his name? I forget. I think it was Mr. Morgan. Anywho, I was, reminiscing on my time with Miss Zander. Miss Zander was the reason I didn't get a 100 on my senior project.
No way.
On my in-class presentation, gave me a 98. I got 3 100s from all judges. Made me so mad. Do y'all still have to do a senior project? Oh, you're not seniors.
I don't know. I
They
don't even
don't
know what a
know.
I don't even know what a midterm is.
It's terrific. All right, Gracie, thanks. Let's slip the mic to Kaylin Benz. And, of course, the first question of Kaylin Benz, B-E-N-Z, is does she have a sister named Mercedes?
I actually do not. I get that joke a lot.
I'm
Way to be
sure.
original, Brad.
I'm sure. I had to get there quick before Josh did.
Yeah.
Maybe somewhere down the line, but like not that I know of.
So, Kaylin, are you a sophomore?
Yes, I'm a sophomore.
too. So, like Grace, you got a ways to go. But have you thought about the afterlife of high school?
I would like to go into sports broadcasting in a way, or just being on the sidelines in some way. But I would also maybe like to go down to A&M as well, down or up in College Station.
And did you what field of study would it be then? Some sort of sports curriculum at A&M, or
Well,
what do you want to get your degree in?
I would like to go to UT for sports.
Okay.
But I would like to go to A&M for agricultural studies.
Okay. I know several people who've got degrees from both places
Texas
for
State.
that same reason.
Texas State offers electronic media, which is sports broadcasting in essence.
So, Kaylin, you going to be involved in baseball as well?
Yes, sir. I'm involved in baseball, and I was last year as well.
Now, are you the one that's doing the stats?
No, that's me.
That's you.
Grace does
So you'll be
stats.
filming,
Yes, sir.
and you'll be filming.
Yes.
I'll invite you right now to sit with me for an inning on the broadcast and see about doing play-by-play for an inning of Cedar Park baseball.
Ooh,
How
I'm
would you like
down.
to do that?
We need to get you on the mic.
Perfect.
You know, if you want to do broadcasting, there's a way to kind of an aptitude
Get in that
test. See if you
feel.
really like it. If you might do it and think, oh no, I hate this. This is something I don't want to do. So it could be helpful to you in helping decide whether you
I'd love
do or
to.
don't want to do that. Okay, so let's remember that. We'll do that. Maybe I talked with Coach actually down on the floor at Waller about a little bit about baseball, and last year it's kind of unusual in that they did broadcast 2 of those 6-game tournaments before district play started. Usually it's always just been district and playoff games. So we did 12 broadcasts of games before we even started district. I asked if they're going to do that again. He says they want to do at least one. So let's do it during one of those games before district that's at a tournament somewhere.
Yes.
We'll do that.
For
All
sure.
right. Kaylin Benz will do a little bit of play-by-play for Cedar Park baseball. Yeah, that'll be fun. So, Kaylin, how did you get involved in all this?
I also got in through Coach Rowe doing virtual. He was like, there needed one filmer spot left, and he was just begging for someone. And I had to really think about it. Like, do I want to get up this early? So, like, a week goes by, and it's actually kind of a funny story. And I emailed him, and I was like, is that spot still open? And he was like, and it took him 2 weeks to answer me. And I saw him every day. Pretty much every day. And I was so, like, I felt, I don't know, like, not neglected, but like ignored.
Yeah.
Like I tried to take this position, and then he writes me back 2 weeks later. He goes, "Well, the position was filled, but they learned the stuff, and then they quit the next day. So it's open if you still want it."
And promise not to do that.
Right. And I told him I joined, so that's how I got in.
That's cool.
So, as we've asked important and insightful questions of these two, here's one for you. Of the group, who is the best liar?
Oh.
That's my favorite one.
Oh, this one's really hard. I don't know. None of them really lie.
Oh, is that a lie?
Equal at just like not telling each other things always. Like that's not necessarily lying, but we have good communication at times. But other than that, it's like it can be really poor.
Yeah, and the question obviously really not asking, who
It's just a
is
little bit of both.
a savage, cantankerous liar. That's not the question. It's who's good at maybe not telling the whole story, and
I mean, I don't always tell a whole story, but that's just because I like to tell things quick and fast. But I don't hit all the points, so.
What's your favorite course at school?
What's my favorite course? I definitely like. It's a really challenging class, and it really knocks me down sometimes. But I really like my AP World class.
Oh.
And then I also just like my livestock production class.
Livestock production. So are you in the FFA?
Yes, I am.
I had a daughter, Taylor, who was in his class, who was an officer in the FFA. She just loved it. She raised goats and sheep and things.
I've raised lambs.
Cool. So of all your experiences doing the filming, what's your proudest moment? What did you do so well you were glad you did this?
I mean, my proudest moment, there's definitely really hard things, but we overcame a lot at the state game. Like a lot. Me and Grace were running. This is a long story.
Oh, go ahead.
We got time.
Me and Grace, 5 minutes, we came and visited y'all on accident. We set up the press box camera in the total wrong spot, and we didn't know because no one told us anything, where to take anything, where to put the camera.
I think the important fact is we spent an hour and a half trying to find y'all, try to find the press box, because we always put the camera in the press box, so we were finding the press box just for
right.
And at that place, weirdly, they put us off catty-cornered and not where you'd think the press box would be, between the 40s or something. We're way
the
off
press
in
box in a weird corner, on the 45th floor.
Yeah.
We asked so many people where to put this camera. It was coaches, officials, employees of the stadium. So we were finally put it where there's a room that says Cedar Park.
And I think it's important to state that we asked at least 15 different people who worked at the stadium how to get to this press box, and no one knew.
We ended up, where the big Dr. Pepper sign is?
Oh, yeah.
We ended up all the way up there.
Oh, no.
Man.
Because that's where the staff person was, because they were that's where all the film
It's a lot
broadcast
higher
are.
than
And I was
us.
like, oh. So then we finally get down, and then somehow we took it up, and then we went down the elevator, and then we ended up in the VIP lounge. Everybody's in, the Hall of Fame and the VIP lounges, and everybody's in ball gowns and serving wine.
Oh.
And here we are just trying to get on field. and we're like panicking, and then we
We'll
get
have a nice Merlot, please.
and then we get back into the elevator, and then we get this phone call. We're just getting yelled at, and we don't know where to.
It's Bowman. I think
it's
important.
Bowman.
It's Bowman yelling.
yelling.
It's Bowman yelling at us through the phone, telling us we put the camera in the wrong spot. 5 minutes before state game, we were rushing, had to run all the way across field, set up our camera at the opposite end at the 50 on the clock.
But it was like halfway down from where we were, and we were wearing boots and fancy star pants. Our heels were bleeding, our feet were bleeding, our soles were bleeding. We were like, we were struggling.
Let's just say we all ended up barefoot on the Dallas Cowboys field.
Man,
For sure.
that's a heck of a story. I remember when y'all were up there, and then, you weren't up there, and we weren't really sure why.
Snatched the camera.
Yeah.
We just snatched it and ran. We didn't even put it back.
That
We
is
didn't
hilarious.
even take it apart. We ran with thousands of dollars equipment, trying not to drop it. Like, I almost let the screen fall. Like, the whole screen almost fell off as I'm running, and we're panicking and in tears.
We're like hysterically crying. We can do this. We can do this. That's what I'm saying. We just got yelled at. That already made me cry. We're like, we can find the breast marks again.
That's like a scene from
God,
a
y'all are
sitcom
freshmen.
or
Y'all
something.
are freshmen when
like
that's
little
going on.
freshmen.
Oh my God, picking
That's
on
all
a
I would
freshman
have to
girl.
say.
Bowman picking on a freshman girl. I'm going to talk to him about it. You know,
Cancel Bowman 2021.
man, one of the, we have the
Kidding, we
trainers.
love you, Bowman. Please don't kick us out.
we had Bowman and his trainers on. They're always very entertaining as well. Bowman's pretty entertaining.
So
But him yelling sounds to me like one of the sounds that we could say we don't want to sound like when we're forks in a garbage disposal. Bowman yelling, things you don't want to sound like. Wow.
So I feel like that has to be one of our proudest moments. Is just overcoming that state game was really just like it brought us all together.
How many plays did you miss filming?
Yeah, actually, I don't think we missed a single play.
That's
state game.
amazing. That's a great way to finish that story.
Right.
That's amazing.
And we did get yelled at like one game where we totally messed up, but I think it was more the camera fault. But we really overcame with that state game.
All right, we're going to take another short break, and when we return,
shout outs.
I didn't
go
get
ahead.
shout-outs
Go ahead and
either.
get your shout.
Shout outs.
Okay, do shout outs.
Shout out time
First,
too.
first for Kaylin.
I shout out, of course, my other filmers here. I shout out also the seniors. It was really fun to get to know them more this year. Y'all for having us on, and the amazing coaches that help us get through it. Even though it was a little rough start, we got it. And just my family and.
Okay, so I'm going to first start out with my shout-out to my film crew and y'all for inviting us.
Did you know this is the Timberwolves sign? He created it.
Oh, really?
It's not.
I
You don't
invented
match
it.
it. You have to give it a snout.
Yeah, it's not here. That's a Chihuahua. It's supposed to have a snout.
My world is
'cause it's a
changing
wolf.
right
This is
now.
the Timberwolves symbol, not this.
No,
You have to
Kaylin, you
extend
have
it.
to have a snout.
You
It's
ha-
been the wrong
Yeah, this is-
Timberwolves
Yes.
sign.
That's
Dude,
a
I've been
Chihuahua.
doing like the
Yeah,
Longhorn
this is
sign
the
in a
wolf.
bunch of our
He
photos.
created
There you
it.
go.
He created it.
Terrible.
When the school.
Peace and love to you.
Well, is Dana Farr still there? The I love you thing, whatever he did. The parking attendant. Oh, never mind.
Well, my shout-outs are to my also.
Go ahead, Gracie. Go
Yeah,
ahead,
just
Gracie.
keep going.
Or my family. I want to give a shout out to the two baseball coaches, Coach Cockrell and Coach Williams, and to my whole JV team that I did the stats with last year. Y'all are my family, and I love y'all.
All right.
And shout out to the seniors this year.
All right.
I would like to add, just one final shout out to
Is that
the
name?
parents. The parents.
We love
We
you.
love the parents, especially with the seniors, and we're really going to miss y'all next year.
Probably some of
Come
them listening
visit.
right now. All right, now we're going to take another short break. When we return, more nonstop honking of the Cedar Park Horn right here from Santa Catarina on Timberwolf Night in America. This is the Vype Live Network.
Fed Bank, formerly Washington Federal. Working together isn't new for us. We've been awarded America's Best Big Bank by Newsweek. From digital options, touchless transactions, and increased nonprofit contributions to help our neighbors, we're here for you. Our bankers approved more than 9,000 PPP loans to keep small businesses going during the pandemic. WaFed Bank is a local bank and portfolio lender with more than 200 branches in 8 states to serve you. 24/7 online and mobile banking with mobile check deposits, over 32,000 ATMs. Free checking. WaFed Bank, your local bank for personal and business banking at wafedbank.com or 800-324-9375.
A premier real estate brokerage in Central Texas, Mungia Real Estate's innovative buy-sell process results in their listings selling faster than the Austin average. Their attention to clients sets Mungia apart from other brokerages with creative marketing strategies, savvy negotiation skills, and a commitment to hard work and excellent customer service. Whether it's residential, single-family, multifamily, condos, commercial, or vacant land, Mungia Real Estate knows the Austin market and connects buyers with sellers every day. And they do it with professionalism. Mungia Real Estate at 512-922-4267 or mungiarealestate.com. That's MUNGIA.
Fourteenth and final episode of Timberwolf Night in America for 2021, live from Santa Catarina, coming back from a break for the last time this year. I'm Brad Cohn, he's Josh Willard, Nathan Nunez, our QA tonight here on the Vype Network, bringing you all the stuff from right here in the heart of the 613. We've been talking with our guests, the Film Girls, Gracie, Kaylin, and Ethne. Upcoming Cedar Park basketball schedules. Blake Brown's men's team currently 1-4. They next play these next 2 days in Laredo at the Border Olympics tournament. They're back home Tuesday night in the Timber Dome to face the Lockhart Lions. Yours truly on the arena mic for that one. The defending state champion women's team. Guests of ours a couple weeks ago. Head coach Donnie Ott's girls. They played at home last night and left Waco University dead by the side of the road, 59-29. G. Mall had 26 points. Shelby Hayes had 11. They are currently 14-0 and ranked number 1 in every poll. They're on the road in tournament action this weekend. They start district play on the road in Marble Falls Tuesday night. Next home game next Friday night against Leander, and I'll be driving the mic on that one as well. If you haven't seen this team, you need to come out and enjoy what we call the greatest show on wood. Josh took his date to her first Lady Timberwolves game last night. Josh, give us your first impression of this team.
First impressions was, oh my gosh. I feel so sorry for any team that has to get in front of this Lady Timberwolves team because they get on the they get out in a hurry and they start fast. But just obviously the offensive stats and how they're able to put points up at free will. But it's the defense, too. This defense is ridiculous. So the little point guard, she was great.
Molly Lee,
She's got a great range in her shot. And then I love as a football broadcaster, there's always the best player on the team, but there's always that most important player.
Glue.
And I'm telling you, Sacco, that girl can flat out play some basketball. She's great down low, does a lot of dirty work for that team.
Good team. Come out, watch the greatest show on wood. Mike Rose broadcasts them here on this same site. You're looking at Vype Live now once district starts. All right. I'm going to continue something I started last week. It's Chris Ross and the art of the matchup. Back several years ago, I was contracted to write articles for the Booster Club website during football season. This item was the genesis of one of those. If you're coaching at any level of youth football right now, you need to listen. You want to know the secret of how to win football games as a coach? This is it. This item was written during the week following the 2-0 start to the 06 season with an opening win over Harker Heights 27-7 and Hayes 28-10. Local press consensus had been for both teams to beat Cedar Park. And I talked to Chris Ross to get a few quotes for that article, and I used a digital recorder, so these words that I'm quoting from him are verbatim. I had asked him a question to start out along the lines of, how are we beating teams that are bigger, stronger, and faster than us? And he talked about a little bit, and I quoted him last week, about how the art of determining matchups, how to maximize those that are in your favor and avoid the ones that are not in your favor, is the big deal in coaching. And so I'll read the very last part of what I said last week and go into this closing part for this week. He says this: I can get guys to teach technique or conditioning. That's really the easy part of coaching. And in Texas, you can find 10 guys who can do that stuff just by tacking a note on a bulletin board at a barbecue joint. But this capability to analyze and manage matchup, that's the thing. That's the gold standard. Ron Schrader at Westlake, remember this was written about 15 years ago. Ron Schrader at Westlake had it. Larry Hill, Smithson Valley has it. Todd Dodge at South Lake Carroll has it. Art Briles at Stephenville has it. If you take some random coach and put him in charge of Stephenville, that's it. It's over. They don't have any gold mine of player talent there. Briles is a master of managing and exploiting matchups. Put the coach from, and I'm just making this up, A-Leaf Elsick there, and Stephenville's a 5-5 team overnight. Put Art Briles at A-Leaf Elsick, and they're the state champs in 3 years. So then he started in about how we'd just beaten Hayes. I think it's 28-10. The Rebels are actually a much better team than we were back then, and yet we were never even seriously threatened, taking the lead for good just a couple of minutes in and compounding it with another score just a few minutes after that. So Coach Ross went on. Here are his words. After we review film and debrief the guys on Friday night's game Saturday morning, we send all the players home and we get right to work Saturday afternoon looking at film of the next opponent. We do that all Sunday afternoon as well. And then I do some more all through the day Monday since I don't have to teach any classes. By Monday afternoon, I got my game plan. Against Hayes, we saw right away some weakness in the technique and strength of their middle linebacker. He was fast, but we saw too many blown tackles. We saw him get fooled by play action and counters. The rest of that defense looked awfully strong, except for one position. We noticed that number 89, their right side defensive end, was a slow player who tended to get hung up on his blocker. So, basically, we designed our entire offensive game plan around runs right at these two guys. We're going to just throw a few times to keep them from bunching the line, but mainly we're going to run 5 or 6 different blasts and counters out of maybe 4 different formations. Sure enough, Tyler Smith, our best back at the time, who ended up going to Rice, Tyler goes for 18 right over that spot on the first play of the game, and the beating was on. But that's only part of matchup exploitation. That's certainly finding and directing your attack at their weakness, but there's even more to it than that. And here's where I think we're different than a lot of other places, Ross said. Our best 2 linesmen for run blocking are our right tackle and our right guard, but Hayes' weakness is going to be on our left side. Believe me, I've lived this, and it seems to never even occur to most coaches, but I move our players around, and I do it a lot. In this case, I reorganized the offensive line this week just to get those 2 best run blockers on the left side. I'll do that in other ways. You might recall we lined up our best running backs, Tyler Smith, at wideout many times all through the game against McNeil last year. That's because we spotted a slow cornerback they tended not to support with safety rollovers if the offense was in a certain formation. We knew that Tyler could get loose from this guy, so we sprung him out there and lined ourselves up in that certain formation. And sure enough, Dilworth hits him for the second longest touchdown pass in school history on about our 4th snap of the game. We scored a bunch of touchdowns early, and that game was over by the middle of the second quarter. On defense against Hayes, we saw that nearly all of Hayes quarterback Brooks Pinkard's passes from the pocket against Bernie, the team they played the week before, were incomplete. He only went something like 1 for 7 in the pocket. But when he rolled right, he never put the pass off target. And he never left the pocket to his left, not once. So we created a defensive lineup that had our best pass rusher, contrary to conventional wisdom, come at him from his right side to keep him from rolling to that side. And we also made sure that the pass rush was what we call a contain rush and not a sack rush. We wanted to bottle him up in the pocket and make him throw from there. Sure enough, it worked. He went something like 8 for 22 and only got out of the pocket a couple of times. So we won that matchup, too. And that was a ball game, essentially. So we analyze and exploit weaknesses better than most. That's how we win. That's what I do. That's the technical part of coaching that I love the most. It also keeps my technique coaches, my position coaches, awfully busy because a guy who's a tight end one week may be a fullback the next, an offensive guard the next. Another advantage of this strategic approach is that you end up being extremely difficult for your next opponent to plan for. Unlike the vast majority of teams out there, what next week's opponent sees us doing on film the previous 2 weeks is often nothing like what we're going to be doing against him. We don't really have a base offense or a base defense you can depend on seeing from week to week. We customize our offense and defense on the fly from game to game based on the strengths and weaknesses of our opponents. You'll notice our team scores a lot of early touchdowns, and this is why. They don't usually see what they're expecting when the game starts. When this happens, by the time they've adjusted, we've got the magic 14-point lead that no Cedar Park team has ever lost. This approach is a heck of a lot of work for both the players and the coaches. This game may seem a lot easier if you always run the same offense and defense all year long, but it takes greatly superior players to win consistently that way. We don't have a team full of grizzly bears and greyhounds, so this is how we win. All of our coaches and all of our players know this, and they bought into it. So that's it, basically. That's the big secret. I can use this technique to beat teams that are actually better than us, but only within certain margins. We play some big strapping team of monster athletes, some bunch of grizzly bears and greyhounds, and this probably won't be enough. Now, if we get the rest of this program rolling like I want to, and he did, and start developing superior players of our own, I would eventually like to get to the point where we don't depend on shifting offenses and players from week to week. But in the meantime, it's always seemed to come naturally to me, this ability to detect and exploit weaknesses that sometimes seem hard for some others to see. Leander last year is an example. I knew from about week 3 that when we played them at the end of the season, we were going to beat them. They had a specific weakness that I'm not even going to tell you just in case. But Josh Mann, the defensive coordinator at the time, and I saw it right away, and it played right into one of our major strengths. As the season went on, we were sort of surprised that other teams and coaches hadn't picked up on this same thing. Cove finally did. Copper's Cove smacked them in the playoffs because they did the same thing we did to them. But when Week 10 came, I didn't care that Leander was ranked number 9 in the state, was 9-0. We were 4-5 going into that game. We knew going into that game that if our guys bought into the game plan and didn't fumble 5 times or something, we were going to flat out win that game. And the Timberwolves did, 10-0. I asked him, so what happens if you run across some opponent who's just as good at this as you guys are? And he said, then we might get beat, especially if his talent level's better than ours. But if that happens, I'll get his number and cross brains with him for the next several years. Those are the guys that I love to seek out. That, folks, was an interesting conversation.
I mean, and the fact that you had that digitally recorded so you can get his words
exact
down.
Words, yeah.
I mean, from someone that was coached by Coach Ross, I can hear his voice saying
those
words.
Things, yeah.
And that's what is so remarkable about his mind. I mean, it's very Belichickian. His ability to do halftime adjustments, first quarter adjustments, and his ability to get people to buy into it that every week it is going to change, and you see that at the tops of the levels of football at the professional level. There is no base. Everybody changes it from week to week because it is truly about matchups. And for high school coaches, if they're able to do that with their team and there's a high enough football IQ between everybody on the depth chart, that's a very scary team.
Yep. All right, another trivia question for you, Josh.
Love it.
This season, not our best, only finishing 5-5 in the regular season, 4-3 and in third place in the district. But once again, we went farther than any other district team. We're the last 11-5A team playing in the last 10 years. How many times has that happened?
That we've been the last representative. So my senior year didn't count because Lake Travis was in our district.
That's more than 10 years ago.
That's more than 10 years ago. Didn't pay attention. Okay. I'm going to say definitely last year. God. Maynard beat us Riders junior year.
Yep, in 19.
And then I think we outlasted everybody when we lost to Manville.
Yes.
So I'm going to say it's the state championship runs.
Lost to Manville.
All 3 state championship runs.
Right, there were 3 of them.
So let's say 7.
It's 8.
Oh.
You mentioned one time we didn't. Maynard lasted longer than us in 19 because they beat us.
Right.
And Hutto went farther than us the year before in 18. Every other year in the last 10
years. Was that their
years,
Chase Griffin year?
Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah, they won the next round and thought they were going to win the Super Bowl.
Right. All right, and one final trivia question for the season, Josh. And admittedly, this is going to be an obscure one. We already mentioned this was the 17th time in 22 UIL district seasons that Cedar Park went to the playoffs. So that means only 5 times in almost a quarter of a century Cedar Park football did not reach postseason play. Can you name those 5 seasons?
I mean, the 07.
Yep. That was the most recent.
Right. So then the first year of existence? Or were we allowed?
We'll say that. We weren't actually eligible the very first year, so we weren't a district yet. But the first year we played a district schedule, 2000, we did not make it, so that's 2.
Okay. With the third in 07 that I've gotten. So then
we're not counting 99 because we weren't playing in a district.
So that wasn't included?
Right.
Okay.
Not included.
And so we went far in 04.
Yep.
We didn't go 05.
Did not go in 05.
Okay. We went in 06.
Yep.
Because they played a game at the Parma Palace, I think.
Yep.
Gosh.
Klein Oak.
Yep.
Oh,
that got scared of Houston when they played them as a little kid. So we're going to go with 02.
That's 1, yeah. There's one more. You've got them all but 1.
04. Oh, no. 03.
03, you got them all.
Right.
2007, 5, 3, 2, and 0. So it's been a while that we've been pretty successful. All right. And now that we've mentioned being the last district team still in action, that means something interesting. Every other district team has been waiting for us to finish because all district teams are not announced until every district team is done. So another tradition continued this year. We are the reasons everyone else is waiting to hear who their all-district players are. For us, here they are. First team, Kevin Adams at running back. Grant Nichols at tight end.
Wow.
Nick Gruyon at wide receiver. Cole Valiente at center.
Oh.
Connor Mason on the O-line.
Oh.
Ian Ferguson on the D-line. Brendan Payne at the defensive end position. Michael Putney at cornerback.
God.
The second team, Tyree Nicholson at running back. Cody Marshall at wide receiver. Kingston Parker on the O-line. Raylan Barr at kicker.
First varsity year football. First year playing football,
Second
dude.
team all-district.
Unreal.
Connor Schutte, the punter.
Oh, coming
Cameron
back.
Armstrong on the D-line. Jake McAnally at linebacker. Christian Cockrell at linebacker. Yeah, we should have that dun-dun going for some.
Oh, yeah.
Honorable mention, Josh Pell at quarterback. Matt Mueller at tight end. Joseph Edwards at wide receiver. Houston Molinaro at wide receiver. Carter Wool at wide receiver. Isaac Barksdale on the O-line. A couple positions on the O-line. Brady Elford as a linebacker. Reed Vines as a linebacker. Ethan Becker at linebacker. George Wheeler at DB. Dylan Rogers at DB. Dylan Hufford at DB. Luke Kuharski at DB. And Ben Gazer, the Norwegian Nightmare.
That's awesome.
At kickoff. And defensive MVP, Murray Robinson.
Big Murr!
Big Murr! Co-offensive MVP, Jackson Harvey on the line.
Wow. That's
There's your
huge.
district team from Cedar Park for this season. Trivia time now.
Let's do it.
Going to play Who's Mascot. You all will play against Josh. We're going to go back and forth, each side trying to guess the school that belongs to a mascot I give. Could be more than one answer. You know, if there's the Vampire Bats is a mascot and there's two high schools that are the Vampire Bats, if you name them both, you get a point for each. But if you miss, you don't get any points. We'll go 7 innings and see who wins. All right. So we'll let the girls go first.
As they should.
As they should.
We work
They're a team.
collectively.
Yeah.
I think it'll.
All right, here we go.
Yes.
The first mascot,
Uh-oh.
the Vikings.
Ooh.
Wait, is this just teams in Texas?
It's going to be
Is this
around
high
the Central
school?
Not
Texas.
the Minnesota Vikings.
I'm localizing it better.
I didn't think of
I
that.
totally
though.
saw that wheel turning.
I'm localizing this for you to where it's
What is it, last
only
year?
teams
This
here.
year.
Listen
No,
up.
we
I'm
did not- we did
localizing
not
this.
play Vikings. I
Girls,
remember.
listen. I'm localizing this for you so it's teams only kind of in the Central Texas area.
Oh, okay.
That's
okay,
not even the
okay.
whole state. It's just around here. You will have heard of every single one of these high schools. So Vikings is the first mascot.
Don't be so sure about that, Mr. Cohen. Okay.
We played the Vikings.
No, we
before.
haven't.
I think we have.
I don't think we have.
think
We
so.
didn't play them this
I'm
season. I
determined.
remember from the mixtapes.
We played a Vikings team that's not from Central Texas, so they're Brian. That wasn't who I had in mind. Talking about Central Texas area.
Who were the
Whose school colors are blue?
5 seconds.
I don't know.
Leander.
They're the Lions.
What school is that? You mentioned it earlier. I feel like that's
Hey,
the
go
purple of the
Tigers.
Vikings.
Go
Okay,
Towels.
you got to give me an answer.
Kerrville.
Nah, not Kerrville. No score in the top of the first for the girls.
No.
Josh to the bottom of the first. Josh.
Why is this an inning?
Because we're baseball.
I think Josh is going to do well in this. 'cause
I'm
I
going to
think-
do really well at this
Okay.
one. Okay, do I get to
calm
answer that one?
down.
No.
No.
Can I
think
answer
you
it?
should have
Yeah,
the
actually,
can
can you
answer it,
outside
yeah.
of Central Texas.
Lago Vista.
No,
Oh,
they're really
stop.
close.
I even
too.
know that.
I know that too.
You know,
And
get
this
your
was
suntan.
one with 2 answers, if you knew, because Navarro, which used to be Lanier, my alma mater, they're also the Vikings.
Yeah, I wouldn't know that.
Lago
Oh.
Vista's like really close. Too.
Really close, right?
Lago Vista
1431.
Vikings. That makes sense.
What colors are Lago Vista?
They're like
purple.
purple and yellow or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, what a
It's like
terrible
Liberty Hill,
combo.
but, like,
I
not-
know.
It's like,
Flashes.
it's like
I
the
know.
Minnesota Vikings. They're purple and yellow.
Come on, Liz.
I don't like blue
All right,
and yellow
so
either.
Josh is up now, and his is the Yellow Jackets.
Ooh, what?
Stop,
The
I think I know
Yellow
this.
Jackets.
Dude, I really don't know that.
Dumb.
Uh-oh.
Is it?
It's, you know, the
Lano.
Central yes, it's Lano.
What?
It is Lano.
Pulled it out of the
I
bag.
Nice
got that one
job.
too.
Wow.
Pulled it out of his arse.
Arse.
Okay.
That was
Girls trailing
outstanding.
1-0 after the first inning. All right, here comes the next one for the
No,
girls.
we did the round 3 game all
Here it
over
comes.
again.
The Raiders.
The Raiders.
Rouse, Rouse.
Are there
Right. Are there more?
Yes.
more? Who?
Can't just say yes and get the point.
I know there's more.
There's more.
We
might-
played another Raiders team.
We have.
Yes, we did. Don't
Yep.
you can't tell me we did it.
This year.
We
Yes.
this year. Okay. Okay.
5
Come on.
seconds.
Who is it?
5 seconds.
Oh, it was one of the ones in playoffs, I think. No.
Think of
Maynard?
No,
No.
Maynard's
I'm
Bears.
sorry.
Not Maynard. You did get a point for
Beginning
Ralph.
of the season.
Don't subtract.
There are
Beginning.
actually 2 others that you could have got 3 points. The others are Old Reagan High School, Northeast Early College, Early Parole, or whatever high school.
Stop. I
They're
run
the
against
Raiders.
track.
And also
Cedar Ridge.
Cedar Ridge.
No!
That's the one you were looking for.
Yes.
And that's the weird school when they opened up. They took part of Cedar Park's
I
name,
threw
they
up in
took
their
part of
dugout.
Mr. Ridge's name, and then they took Rouse's mascot. I didn't
Yeah.
get that.
Like,
Yeah, but they're also like in
the
Round
original.
Rock, so it doesn't
Yeah.
make any sense. They're just
Yeah.
a huge smorgasbord of schools.
Yeah.
Love that. Yeah,
All right.
smorgasbord.
They tied it up though 1-1. Josh is up next, and we'll give his next one is the Kangaroos.
Oh.
Oh.
Colleen.
Colleen, it is.
Yeah, I would
Boom.
have
Is
guessed that.
up 2-1.
And
back
boom
to
goes the
girls.
dynamite.
And boom goes the dynamite.
Calm down.
And
Calm down.
My favorite show growing up was The Price is Right, so I have The Price is Right winning horn and losing horn.
There we
queued
go.
up.
all right, for the
Yeah.
girls, the next one up is the Trojans.
Oh.
Anderson.
Yes.
I'm proud.
All right.
My dad went to Anderson.
Really?
Oh,
Yes,
really?
fun fact. Actually,
And then
really,
went to
really
play
sad
college
fact.
soccer in California?
Yeah.
What
It's
cla-
a wonder
what year
considering
was
their
he?
sports teams that we've seen. I'm really surprised.
Right?
what year was he at Anderson?
Ugh.
I have no idea. I genuinely have no idea.
What year was he
Soccer's
born?
well.
I didn't know my dad.
86, I think.
86, so he's in the middle 2004 or something like that.
Yeah.
It's pretty young to have a kid your age.
I mean,
He doesn't know how old her dad is.
I'm not gonna lie.
I
Dad, are
think
you
he's
listening?
30. I think he's 38. So what
Okay,
year would that
okay,
be?
Okay. All right. Well, that's close
Hurts my
enough.
brain.
That'd be 20 years ago.
I only count up. I don't count back.
20 years ago for high school.
It
Which
was
would be
84 then. It
01,
must have been
02.
84.
His birthday is.
Okay.
Depends what his birthday is.
I don't know.
83,
All right, Josh is up
84.
in the bottom of the third. Let me
Sorry,
see.
Dad.
That's so
Josh's
much.
mascot.
Give me a good one. Give me a saucy one.
Okay, let's see.
Juice?
Give me the juice.
It's hard to dig one up that I think Josh doesn't know.
Right.
Good.
Let's see here. I'm
plot
gonna
against
go. I'm gonna go with the Texans.
Oh, dude, Wimberley.
Wimberley,
Come
it
on, man.
is. Josh is 3 for
Oh,
3.
yeah, I knew that too.
Oh
Wimberley.
man, I should have given that to you.
Are they 101 in the
I don't
state?
know.
I don't
Texans
remember
as the
every single
Texans?
team we played.
I think they're
Besides
the only
Henry
one.
That's one of my favorite
Like
games when we
86
play
and 0.
how many of each.
Yeah.
That's a fun one.
Yeah.
Are we just talking?
All right, girls
I was
are up in the
close.
top of the fourth, down 3-2 to Josh in this one. And let's see. Yours is the Bulldogs.
Oh.
Bowie. It's Bowie.
Bowie. Okay.
Bowie.
Yes.
Bowie. It's Bowie.
Thank
It's
you for
Bowie
the
Bulldogs.
thank you for
I'm
saving
sorry.
the team.
Someone corrected me when I said it, and they said it was Bowie, and now I
No,
can't get
They
out
knew
of my
you were
head.
coming on
Bo?
TNA.
They were trying to
I
do
know.
something.
I used to say it
That's
Bowie,
like the
but
woman
someone
who
told me it was
pronounced it
Bowie, and I
Lackawanna.
can't get out of my
I've heard
brain.
Bowie. It's Bowie.
Now I'm gonna probably say that on air.
Bowie.
now none of us know what it is.
Historically, it's been Bowie, David Bowie, the Texan who died at the Alamo.
Yes.
All right, David Bowie, the Texan who died at the Alamo. Jim Bowie. Let's see, in the Bowie knife. All right, so let's see. You got that? But oh yeah. But there's more than one bulldog.
Yes.
Do you know any others?
Isn't there?
Bella and the Bulldogs. I think that should count.
No, they're the Bears. Never mind.
It is a bee.
Bulldogs.
There's actually 2 more in the Central Texas area.
2 more.
What?
Have we played one of them?
Way back when.
Way back when.
We played
That's
a game
not
at their
helpful.
stadium
We
that
know
we
nothing
mentioned.
about football before the year we came in.
Okay,
so.
that's very true.
Okay. Well, there are 2 others you could have get. Copper's Cove Bulldogs, who we played years ago,
What?
and the Burnett Bulldogs.
Oh!
That was the other one.
Burn it makes
But you got a
sense.
That
point.
makes a lot of sense.
B.
Got a
B.
point. All the
Cove does
alliteration.
not.
Yeah.
I've been
Tied,
to Copper's
tied it
Cove
up, though.
for Deca.
Oh,
All right.
peace and
All
love.
right, let's see.
Give me the juice.
For Josh. Oh, man. Let me drag my mind through a couple of names here. I'm never going to line
Calculating
on
1,
one
2,
that he
3.
doesn't know.
Dun, 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 dun.
Okay. The Eagles.
The Eagles, we've got Georgetown.
Got Georgetown
no,
as
he's
one.
gonna get so many points.
That was so much.
Am I, though? I don't know.
Yes.
Something cool.
Yes.
Or do you know a lot of them right off the bat?
I feel like I do.
I
I
don't.
could just be assuming.
Is it just
We
one?
played another Eagles in the playoffs, didn't
Don't
we?
say that. He's still his turn.
There's at least one more that I'm thinking of. I don't know if there's two more.
Is one of those out in Colleen Ellison?
Wow, that is another one. You're right. So he's got 2 points. That wasn't the one I was thinking of, though, so there's another one.
No, this is not fair.
I played against that team, though, so that's different. Those are the only two that I know of.
The other one's South Austin, Aikens.
I was going to say it was Aikens. Stop, you didn't give me a chance to steal the point.
I know, but you couldn't.
And didn't they have, like, an armed suspect on
did
campus
today.
today?
Yeah, they did, I
Thankfully,
think.
no shots were fired, though. I was
Yeah.
following
Gosh.
it.
All
Shout out
right,
first responders.
top of the fifth for the girls, trailing now.
Are we trailing?
5-3.
Okay.
In the rear view.
Okay, I think we should be
Calm
5-4
down,
because
calm
I knew
down.
it was Aikens. I knew
Well,
it was
wait a
Aikens.
minute. Wait a
What
minute.
about a half of a
All right.
point?
Yeah,
How
can
about
we get
this
half
one?
a point?
And the other half for Bell and the Bulldogs.
What about the Knights?
Oh, we played the Knights.
Okay, 1, 2.
Is it
How many are there?
McCallum? Does McCallum have Knights?
McCallum has Knights. You got it.
Nice.
That's the only one I can think of. Can you
Oh.
think of another
I
one?
think it's the only.
It just depends on what's the Austin area. That's probably not for them.
Who else do you
We've
think?
never
Harker
played
Heights.
McCallum. I don't know how I knew
Yeah,
that.
yeah. There would have been
They
another
just
one. You're
won
right.
the
Harker
past
Heights
playoff.
Knights.
But we'll give them the
Oh,
points.
that's true.
They get the point.
Oh, wait, can I get the Hill Country Knights, too? They're a private school.
Oh, crap.
They're Central Texas.
Okay, all right.
As we should.
How are you? Tied it up. 5-5. We go to the bottom of the inning, bottom of the fifth for Josh. Man, this is hard. I can think of stuff that I think maybe you all might know. It's hard to think of something that Josh doesn't know. Let's see, without
Yeah,
him scoring
there's-
multiple points.
I like our Jeopardy music.
I have that. I've been playing
We're
it.
playing that in the background.
We're
Yeah.
singing the Jeopardy music over your Jeopardy
Yeah,
music.
when you're thinking about it, I've been playing it. Yeah.
so much.
All right, this is Josh's
Extra
next to
Jeopardy.
last at bat. I'm going to give them 2 final at bats, and you only 1. Since
As
you,
we
since
should.
you know more of this than they do. Okay, all right. How about something that I know you'll only get 1 point out of? The Maroons.
Oh, this is
Oh,
the dumbest
you talking about the
mascot ever.
team
I'm
that
sorry.
talked so much smack
Boy,
before we
did they.
played them?
Boy,
we
did
played
they.
them our senior year, and they had a big recruit that was going to play football at Texas, and we 56-0 them
And he
on
caught-
TV.
And he caught 2 passes for 19 yards.
Yes,
And the
it's
biggest hit came
dumbest
from our kicker.
mascot.
But Austin High, final answer.
Austin High, final answer is correct. Josh takes
I
a
will never not
1-point
make fun of
lead.
that.
I'm going to give you all 2 different mascots. If you can get a
Okay.
point out of the 2, you tie. If you get more than 1 point out of the 2, you can beat. You can win the game.
You could beat the Willard of Oz.
Okay, so let me
Please
see.
No. We've had enough overtime.
Here's the first one. Jaguars.
Oh,
Jaguars.
There's the Jeopardy music.
I know this.
Calm down.
Jaguars.
Isn't it was the team we played that we went into overtime against? Aren't they the Jaguars?
Yeah, but who
Yes,
was
they
that?
are. Buda Johnson. Right?
Judah Johnson Jaguars. There you go.
Yeah.
That's
It
one.
was cold.
There's
It
another
was-
one.
There are others.
There are others.
There are others.
Maroon 5.
That's Austin.
Adam Levine.
I know. I know there's another one.
There's
We
another
played
Jaguars round.
last year.
We've actually also played them in the first round of the playoffs,
Last
and
year.
we also beat them in overtime.
Oh, that was not last
Not
year.
this
That was
last year.
Ryder's sophomore
how
year?
football works.
Ryder's sophomore year.
film.
God, Caden Combs was on that team. B.J. Jones.
Yeah, Ryder's sophomore year, first round playoff
I was in
game.
6th grade. Let's back up for a second.
You weren't at
I
every
didn't
game
even
having
live
a poster
here
of
Ryder's
Ryder on your
sophomore
wall.
year. I lived in Kansas, okay?
Kansas. We'll have to talk about that. I'm a Kansas man myself.
Oh, incredible.
It's flat.
So do you have anybody? This could win the game for you if you can come up with an answer here. I am giving you another chance with another mascot. in a
I'm
minute.
going to throw out a wild. No, it's not
Okay, give us
Hayes.
a
They're
wild
like
guess. Give us a
birds.
wild guess.
Never mind.
Who is it?
I was going to say Hayes, but Hayes is it's some form of bird, I think.
I don't know
5
any high
seconds.
schools. I just go to
5
football
seconds.
games.
I'm going to Elgin.
Oh, man.
Johnson
that's a good
City.
guess because it's near
Johnson
Elgin.
City isn't his
The other one
name.
was
Elgin.
LBJ. They're
Oh.
the Jaguars.
Libbage.
So you only got 1
know
point of
that
that, but you
one.
tied the game. I'm giving you this final one chance to beat him.
Oh, okay,
Yes.
okay.
All right, let me see.
I'm so nervous.
Here it is. Cougars.
Oh. Oh, Brad. That's
Oh,
great.
I know this.
You do?
Tell us.
Oh, Hold on, I'm thinking of Ira Porters in my brain. Hold
Yes,
on,
you should be. you definitely know all the schools in the area.
Connolly. The Connolly Cougars.
Connolly Cougars it is, and the girls.
Oh, how the mighty
sneak out
have
the win.
fallen.
know
Oh,
that.
how the mighty have fallen. You get the
Nice
Price is Right
job.
winning horn.
Nice job. Good Price is Right winning horn music there with the ding,
Thank you
ding,
for
ding.
carrying us. Thank you.
All right.
Can my half
Thanks,
of a
Snoop.
point count?
Shout out Snoop and all the other Ira Porters.
There
Thank
you go. All right, a tradition we've built here on Timberwolf Night in America is to read aloud the names of our departing seniors as one of the last things we do. Here they are.
Cry.
Cody Marshall, Kevin Adams, Gavin Bernard, Nick Gruyon, Michael Putney, Josh Pell, Joseph Edwards, Dylan Hufford, Grant Nichols, Houston Molinaro, Luke Kuharski, George Wheeler, Sarmad Al-Nurachi, Gavin Mundell, Dylan Rogers, Isaiah King, Logan Flores, Jake McAnally, Charlie Glenn, Reed Roberts, Ethan Becker, Ben Gazer, Brendan Payne, Christian Cockrell, Cole Valiente, Connor Lewis, Christian De Silva, Dylan Chenault, Connor Mason, Ethan Whittington, Kingston Parker, Gabe Duran, Jackson Harvey, Colby Norwalk, Raylan Barr, Ian Ferguson, Gerald Parker, Murray Robinson, and Cameron Armstrong. Yes, that is well over 2/3 of the roster. We will miss these young men and wish them all the best on the rest of the long road of life.
A lot of this senior class had a lot of memories, and a lot of those guys were on the varsity as sophomores. So we've been watching those guys come up through this program, and it just, I mean, it never gets easier recycling the guys.
All right, looking ahead, next year is going to be difficult. This is historically a program that has reloaded every year. That's not where we are right now. We are firmly into the rebuilding mode. Most of this team moves on into the next stages of their lives. We have very few experienced players returning, and we'll have to count on the current sophomore and freshman classes, both judged to be very, very good, to fill many roles next season as juniors and sophomores. We've talked about this 2021 team coming into the season with very limited experience at quarterback. Pell had very few snaps in 2020. 2022 will be even worse. We will have no quarterbacks with any varsity experience whatsoever. We've mentioned that this 2021 team had no players listed on the roster at the receiver position who had ever caught a varsity pass coming into the year. Several of them turned out to be very good. Next year, not quite as bad. Carter Well, Eli Lackey, Tyra Nicholson, Matt Mueller, and Jackson Brock all caught passes this season, but outside of Wohl's 15 grabs for 107 yards, only 5 catches between those other 4 men for just 32 yards. At running back, Tyree Nicholson is the only truly experienced ball carrier returning. He's good. Tyree had 95 carries this year for 460 yards, a 4.84 average, and 5 touchdowns, but he is the only proven offensive weapon returning. And defense, we suffered through a down year this season, but I've got every confidence that defensive coordinator Brent Britton, with a year back in this program under his belt now, that he can make the difference here. He's the best D-cord that we have ever had. Here are the underclassmen listed on our last roster for this year. Defensive back Jace Meredith, wide receiver David Duplanche, linebacker Hudson Glace, wide receiver Carter Wohl, linebacker Jackson Fortney, wide receiver Eli Lackey, running back Max Powell, running back Tyree Nicholson, linebacker Brady Elford,
Yes, sir.
linebacker Kaysen Cave, punter Connor Schutte, linebacker Reed Vines, defensive linesman David Parr, defensive linesman Dylan Tam,
There you go.
offensive linesman Isaac Barksdale, offensive linesman Caleb Castro, tight end Matt Mueller, wide receiver Logan Hedges, wide receiver and kick returner Gavin Chappa, he really came on at the end, wide receiver Gavin Horton, tight end Jackson Brock, and defensive linesman Aaron Namba. We hope all of these young men bring their experiences back to the team next fall.
Absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of crucial guys that you mentioned right there, especially on that defensive side of the ball. Really excited to see that we're going to have Jackson Fortney coming back. He's got great downhill, down the line of scrimmage speed. And then Tyree Nicholson, man, you better hit the weight room and just get ready for this senior year, because we're going to need you to keep that healthy, almost 5-yard a carry average. And then, I mean, Reed Vines, a sophomore, going to be a junior next year. The experience he's bringing, Did not know Isaac Barksdale's coming back. That is going to be huge for that offensive line unit because of his ability to step in for Cole Valiente when he went down as center. So Isaac Barksdale looking to be the leader of that Doughboy unit for sure.
All right, on to our final closeout of the season. Well, it wasn't what we'd gotten used to, but that's okay because that's how life works. Sometimes you're the hammer and sometimes you're the nail. We spent over a decade as the hammer. Turnabout is fair play, and this year we got nailed a couple of times. But you can learn the great lessons of life from both victory and defeat. One of the lessons that we hope those returning to this program next year have soaked in is that they absolutely hate to lose. Both Chris Ross and Carl Absek were both quoted in their time here that they hated to lose more than they loved to win. We need to get back to that. For motivation is a huge part of success in any endeavor. Can't wait to get back to this game that we all love next fall.
Absolutely. This is a team that just needs to come back, not hungry, but starving. Something that I found that kind of spoke volumes to me that I think this young group, they need to hear this. Being hungry is doing what's required, accepts coaching, is a good teammate, average energy, noticed when absent, so definitely noticed, competitive and motivated. But the difference, being starving, goes well beyond what's required. Asked for coaching and criticism, gets the most out of teammates, extremely passionate, terribly missed when absent, relentless and determined. That's got to be the mindset for this team going into the offseason, that we have to get back to earning it.
If we have a whole bunch of those kind of players, we'll be right back to where we once belonged.
Absolutely. Let's be starving.
Once again, for the final time, our Booster Club sponsors this year: Toyota of Cedar Park, H-E-B, Rudy's Barbecue, Mungia Real Estate, Army Ant Moving, our touchdown sponsor T.J. Lewis Real Estate, Alzer's Barbecue, Wofford Bank, and this here's Santa Catarina Mexican Restaurant. And remember, the banquet Sunday, January 16th, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Hot Spot in Cedar Park. That's it for our final episode of Timberwolf Night in America for the 2021 season. The T-Wolves will... Well, they'll run, they'll hit the weight room, and dream of football for the next several months as they itch to get back to contact in August, and so will we. Well, not so much the run and lift, but Josh and Cecil and I will definitely itch to get back to football in the fall. Our thanks to our guests tonight, the Film Girls, Ethne, Kaylin, and Gracie. For our QA, Nathan Nunez. For Vype Director of Broadcasting, Merle Bertrand, and all the good folks up the line at Vype and Flow Sports TV. And for my own personal Chris Collinsworth, Josh Willard, this is Brad Cohn signing off for the season. I'll see you in baseball in the spring, and a couple of these girls, too. You've been listening to Timberwolf Night in America on the Vype Network.